Hey guys, I'm over at my family's house today and I'm getting ready to do a pottery firing here. If you've ever wondered how to fire pottery in your own backyard, this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through all the steps that I go through for firing pottery in the backyard. These same principles apply to what I do out in the desert when I go and hunt down my own wood and fire my pottery out in the wild. Still a little bit warm out here. Summer's wrapping up to an end and I haven't really done much pottery stuff all summer long. Basically been in hibernation. So it's good to be out here getting ready to do something pottery related. Let's get started. So I've already got a complication and I haven't even began. It is super windy here. That's usually not a good thing for pottery, but it is what it is. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dig a small shallow pit right here, and it's gonna be very shallow, nothing deep. This is actually probably more than enough, but I do like to keep my fire in just a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of probably actually use just my feet and just create a shallow. As you can tell, I've fired in this spot quite a number of times already. I'm just going to spread this dirt around. There we go. Just beautiful. I'm going to add some random branches here. We'll just toss those there. Got a few more random scraps. Get it nice. And we'll pack that down. Ugh, there we go. Yep, this is it. Let me just get some lighter fluid now. Spray this all over here. I want it to light really good. The old Sinagua peace pipe starter. And here we go. And uh-oh. Oh boy. This crazy thing. Ugh. Ah, there we go. Whew. One of these days I'll get that replaced. Alright. Looks to be going pretty good now. So I've got my pre-warm-up fire here going pretty well. It's looking pretty good. And over here, it's all the goods in this bucket. Let's start getting these crazy things out. I've got here this seed jar I made. Now this is actually using some of that clay that I dug up in this backyard a while. The family's planning on selling this house, so it's going to be a beautiful keepsake, a little piece of the property. It's been with the family for years. I got this other jar here. So I've got this bowl here. This beautiful jar. I really hope this one turns out. This other bowl over here. Set this guy right over here. And I've got this cover shirt here. I'm only using this because it's going to help with the wind. And then I've got this filthy jar that I made. I tried to smudge this. I'm just going to refire it and make a clean version of it. It did not go well, as you can tell. Not well at all. Here's all the pottery. Oh man, that's quite a lot of it. I'm just going to rotate these around. Let it keep warming up. So we've got the pre-warm-up fire going. What's next? Well, I'm probably going to rotate my pottery around just a little bit. I really don't need to do that too much with this clay. I'm pretty confident it can handle the thermal shock, so I don't really need to warm it up too well. I've had so much luck with a lot of this clay. But I'll do that just to show you guys real quick, and then we'll just wait for this to burn out, and we'll start cutting our wood. I'm going to be using some scrap wood that I've got from the lumber yard and some other odd ends. I really don't need things special for this type of firing. That's one of the beauties about this. You can use any kind of wood you want, and it should burn pretty clean if you follow these steps. So let's go take a look at those pots and rotate them around. And how I rotate these around, it's just this simple. You just spin them around. Some of this clay I don't really need to do this for, especially the stuff that I refired, like this guy right over here. I don't need to worry about him. He's already been fired, but the rest of this clay is still clay. If it gets wet, it's going to turn back into workable clay, so I got to be careful with it. Just kind of rotate it around to help it warm up evenly. Alright, for this step, guys, very important, wear some safety goggles. Make sure you're wearing gloves. I'm going to be splitting some of this lumber here and cutting it with this reciprocating saw. This is the fun part, but just be careful. Safety first as always. And then the big guns right here. I'm going to split these 2x6s here, so that way I can have some thinner wood to work with. Just grab my hammer. Bam. Just like that. chuck those aside and get ready for the next one. Line that axe up here like so, and in one big wham, there we go. Splitting wood is always so much fun.
Wow, it is supposed to only be 99 out, and this wind is supposed to be making it really good, but as you can tell, whew, it is pretty crazy. Let's go check on that pre-warm-up fire. We should be able to start getting the pottery stacked around now, and we'll get ready for the next step.
So my pre-warm-up fire is all out. Nice set of coals here. Probably could have used some more. Now for the fun part. I've got these clay bricks I'm going to be using as pottery furniture. I'll just set those down. Make sure you're using some gloves. These welding gloves I'm using can take the heat pretty well. You don't want to burn yourself. Sometimes the heat could just go right through these gloves. This stuff gets really hot. So I've got those put in nice now. Now I've got to pick out the star of the show. This is going to be the centerpiece. It's going to kind of hold everything around the stack. I'll use this filthy jar. Set him right there. Oh boy. This is the real trick. It's kind of a balancing act right here. Getting everything to hold and balance on and making sure. I don't think I have enough pottery furniture here. I might have to use some of these cover sherd scraps just to act as a little stand over here. There we go. Maybe this guy here. Set him over here like so. Nope, that's not going to work. What about this guy here? I'll try this one. As you can tell, got this pretty well stacked up now. I don't like using this on the side, but we're just going to have to go with it. There we go. That's going to stay in place. Put this little bowl on to help stabilize it a bit. So I put this cover shirt on. That's going to really stabilize it out. It's also going to act as a protectant against the wind. I've got so much wind here right now. It's going to help it from rapidly cooling if a breeze comes up. Ideally, you wouldn't use this for this particular firing I'm doing, but this is what our stack looks like, guys. Alright, now I started adding the wood. There's no rhyme or reason to this, just put it in as it is. Maybe a little bit of breathing room. You really don't need to worry too much about that. As the fire goes, these things start to burn down and it'll open up all these pockets, so you'll get plenty of air to start to clean out that carbon that might be left on the pottery. I'm going for a pretty filthy firing here though, because I do want to get some good fire clouds. And I think this is going to work pretty good. I've got some other scrap branches that I've saved from when I chopped down some of the trees around here that needed some pruning. So that'll be pretty beneficial. And just keep stacking these up until we get it all nice and even out there. Kind of want it to burn evenly, so it's... Oh, here we go. I've added some branches on here.
Alright, we've got the stack. I added some scrap wood just to help this thing light a little faster. Lighting timber is actually kind of a challenge. So if you got some scrap branches around from a tree that's dying in your backyard or something, that always works wonders. That's actually, I trimmed up a tree and I got these branches from it back in May. It is now middle of September. It is still crazy hot, guys. I can't believe this. So I'm just gonna... Gotta be careful though. I don't want to accidentally get lighter fluid on the pottery since it is still fresh. That will cause it to scald. I've had that issue before in the past. Never a fun thing. So be careful with that. I put some cover shirt on the top just because of the way the wind is blowing. If I don't do that, the wind can be your ally or it can be your worst enemy when it comes to pottery. And most of the time it's not good because it will rapidly cool down one side, but it can also help you generate some really good temperatures in your pottery when this thing is actually working. There we go. And looks like the wind already knocked down my branches. Wow, it's gonna be a tough one to start, guys. Let's see here. There we go. Maybe that did it this time. This side's gonna combust better because I have some coals there that is helping generate some heat. But look, it already kind of fizzled itself out. Just pour a little bit more fluid on it. Get some on this side. We kind of want it to combust evenly. It'll start happening in just a moment now. I think that's good. So now that we got the main fire lit, I'm going to nurse it just a little bit to make sure it continues to light evenly. So a lot of times what will happen is you will get to one side that combusts a lot faster than the other side, which means it's going to burn out quicker. You may have to actually stack some more wood, but I like my fires to burn pretty evenly, so that way I don't have to throw on more lumber to keep the fire going, so that way it has a nice all-around burn. So I got to keep an eye on this, and we'll just let it ramp up, take a couple temperatures, and we'll just let it burn itself out. This is a quick, easy firing. Should last about 30 minutes to maybe 40 minutes, depending on the size of lumber that you're using. The thicker the branches, the longer it's going to burn, which means it's going to generate a lot more heat. Ideally, we're looking for about 750C to 800C for this particular firing. It doesn't have to be that hot, but as long as it's over 700C, it's going to be able to efficiently burn out that carbon, and we're going to have a really nice firing. The big question is, will the pottery survive? Did we add enough temper to the pottery? Only time will tell. So let's see what happens.
All right, the fire is somewhat well underway. This side here, yeah, as I mentioned, it's combusting pretty well, but I'm running into a problem over here. So I'm going to douse a little bit of lighter fluid, I think, on this side. It will just kind of help it along. I don't want to get too close because remember, they don't want to get that pottery wet. You get spalting if this lighter fluid gets on it. That'll be bad. Do not want that. This side is combusting really well. And we'll just let it run its course. I think that should do it. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Definitely. So here we are. We've got our fire combusted really well. We've already hit the upper 700s. We're at 745 already. This is beautiful. It's a nice hot firing. I didn't think it would get this hot this fast. Got a couple of readings of 750C over here. And it's still rising a little bit. If we hit the 800s, that'll be cool. But this is perfect right here. This is a really good temperature to have your pottery at. We're really well underway. We did not hit the 800s yet, but we're already dropping in some areas. As to be expected, the lumber you get from the lumberyard does not burn hot. It burns pretty long, but it doesn't burn hot. I've never really been able to hit the upper 800s with it. This is a beautiful fire right now. Look at all that wind, though. Oh, man. This is looking good on this side, too. Very well even burning. Nice, beautiful temperatures. We've got some gaps starting to form. This is just beautiful.
All right, so we got the main fire all ramped up. We're just gonna let it completely burn out. We've already hit the temperatures that we were hoping for in the upper 700s. It's looking beautiful so far. We just gotta let time do its thing. We'll come back and we'll check on the goods.
It's burning itself down into coal. As you can see, I've got a bunch of open pockets here. This is not good because that wind is going to rapidly cool it. I can risk crackage in my pottery if it cools too quickly because one side's hotter than the other. Oh boy, I hope this works.
All right, so the main fire looks to be burned out. Let's go take a look and see what kind of damage we've got here.
All right, here we are. The fire is completely out, guys. This is just awesome. Look at those fire clouds. I'm going to let it cool a little bit more. We're going to pull these out, but oh man, this is just beautiful. Look at the reds. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Just beautiful. All right, I got my gloves on. These are still piping hot. Uh-oh, yikes. Didn't want those to fall. We could put this aside. It's got a crack in it, but I kind of expected that to happen. Like I said, with that wind. Here's the family heirloom seed jar right here. No, yep, that one looks pretty nice too. Ooh, these are still pretty hot to touch, even with these gloves on. Set that aside there. I have to let some of these cool a little bit more. Yeah, yikes. Here's what we got pulled out so far. Look at these beautiful colors. Oh, this wind is crazy. Man, these are neat. All right, fun part. Be careful when doing this, guys. Putting the fire out, making sure it's completely out. You don't want to get that water on your new pots that I'm so close to. It could splatter. But they're at a cool enough level where it really doesn't matter if too much water gets on them, but they'll be fine. Nothing crazy's going on here. Oh, this is crazy, all this smoke though. But you want to make sure that fire is completely out.
So I've got my cover shirt that we placed on the top here, and you can see that wind caused some really nice thermal shock. Anytime you get a crack like this, it is definitely from rapid cooling or quick heating. In this case, it was rapid cooling. That wind just came right across it. So it was a really great idea to put this cover shirt on the top to kind of prevent the stuff underneath it from rapidly cooling and just to protect it from the wind. So that was a really good idea. If you ever come across a firing where you are in a lot of wind, which you shouldn't be firing to begin with if there's a lot of wind, it's never a good idea, guys. But I did for this particular case. Try and use some cover shirts. You don't need a lot of them. Just kind of strategically place them where the wind is coming from just to shield it from that. For this particular firing, I was not going for a clean firing. I wanted a lot of nice fire clouds on this to add some character to these plain ware pots that I made. And using cover shirts is going to prevent that from happening, which is why I pretty much only use this one and one more just to kind of, because I ran out of the bricks, just to prop it up into place. Overall, let's take a quick look at these pots that we have. So I've got here this beautiful little pot. Has a wonderful ring to it. I am super excited. This guy turned out beautiful. I actually was experimenting around with this particular one where I used a slip, which used some clay that really adds fire clouds to it. For some reason, this clay leaves these marks so beautifully. The only problem is this clay is, well, it's really good to work with, but it's really bad to fire with. It'll fire successful, but give it a couple of months, you get a little bit of humidity, and it's just filled with caliche. So I wound up levigating, purifying it all out, and I figured this would be great use as a slip. And then I've got my clay on the inside here that can take all kinds of abuse. And it looks like it turned out really nice. I am happy with these results. It's going straight on my shelf, guys. And real quick, I've got here the little seed jar that I made using the clay that I dug up from my backyard. You can check that video out. I put a video up a while back that showed me digging some clay in this backyard, processing it and running through all the steps. This is that little pinch pot that I made. This is a keepsake, especially if the family decides to sell this house. I'll always have a piece of our family history right here in my hands. And then, of course, real quick, I've got this refiring of this jar I made. You can see it's no longer black. I originally tried to smudge this, but I did not like the way it smudged. It was like, I might as well just have the whole thing black if I was going to have it that way. So you can see a refiring. It is completely clean on the inside, not a trace of that. And then we have the exterior, which is just beautiful. I had so much stuff stacked on it. Unfortunately, it was not able to get any fire clouds. But we do have some discoloration that I really like. I think this is awesome. This is going to be a giveaway, some kind of gift for somebody. And before I sign off with you guys, I almost forgot these two jars that have been cooling down for a while. They turned out just awesome. Look at this nice red on this one. It's kind of got a reddish, orangish hue to it. This one's definitely that plain buffware. Just beautiful. I am super excited with this firing today. Well, that was super fun. I always have a great time when it comes to firing pottery. Nothing exploded. Everything seemed to work out just fine. We did have that crack, but as I mentioned, that's why I put that cover shirt on the top. The wind just rapidly cools down, and I knew that was going to be a problem. So that's why we placed that there, but all the goods turned out excellent. Well, my friends, I really hope you enjoyed watching how to fire pottery in your backyard. If you did, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button and helping this channel grow. And don't forget to give it a like. All right, my friends, I hope to see you in the next video. Till next time.